Hey face makers, welcome back to the factory. Thought I'd talk a little bit of sculpting and sculpting tools today. I have a huge array of tools I've collected over the years, but I wanted to go back down to the basic three tools that I use, or a variation of those same three tools. One of my favorite tools that I use, I call it the number 7, and that is this tool right here. It's a little dental tool. Some beauty supplies have them. You may find them at some flea markets who sell old medical tools and stuff. Or if you go to a dental supply or even a lapidary supply, these are used for working wax. They're a wax tool. And a lot of times they'll say number 7 on them. That's why we call it a number 7. But I have multiple versions of this same tool. As you notice, some of them are flatter than others. This has more of a rounded back. Can you see that? There we go. So, they all have different variations. Also, the tips of them. Some of them are very sharp and pointy. I always grind that off and sand it down very smooth so that point is not going to stab into things and dig it out. So all these are different variations. There's a little teeny tiny one that I have. But, pick you up a number 7 spatula of that type. This is kind of the large version I found this somewhere. It's got clay on it, but it's got a pointy end too for scribing and getting some deep lines and stuff. So that's a big number 7, I call it. Also, this simple tool here. This is a sculpting tool, usually for cleaning up plaster. But this little guy right here is great for carving deep lines and wrinkles. But that's straying away from the number 3 tools that I was talking about. The basic 3 tools. Now, this goes for your detailing. Are tools such as this. One of these types of tools, and it can be a variation. There's a lot of variations on that tool. I even have a big version of it, but that type of tool. And then these little guys right here. I see a lot of really good sculptors using these tools, and you use both ends. This is the wooden end, and some of them are more pointy than others. There you go. See, this one's more pointy. This is great for getting in there and doing really tiny cross hatches and lines into your sculpture. And of course your normal tip, that's a squared off version. And that's a little funny shape there. And then another tool that I use, which I make myself, and it's basically aluminum armature wire. The very thin stuff. And as you see, I just looped it up, made multiple lines, I wrapped it around itself. This side, they're irregular. They don't stick out in the same depth. This is great for doing crisscross lines through plastic because it slides on the plastic. It makes really nice textured lines. This is a more robust version that I did. Basically stuck it down into a brass tube, put epoxy on it. 5-minute potty epoxy putty, and this makes a great tool. And I can actually go in, if I need to separate these, I can bend them out and then bend them back. But then also I took a little a dog brush, and I took the little bristles from a dog brush with a little tiny tip, and I basically super glued them down inside and then secured it with some epoxy. This is great for tapping pore texture. If you do it one at a time, it takes forever. This way you can cover a large area at once. And you saw me pull out this little guy earlier. These are great. If you can find a package of these at Staples or something, these are just finger cuts. They're silicone for dabbing into stuff. And I'm going to spin down on my sculpture right now so you can see what I'm talking about and how these things work. But when you have a sculpture and you've worked it all the way through, and you've gotten down to the basic anatomical structure that you want, eventually you start detailing it. And my final stage of detailing is generally through very thin plastic. So I've gotten, here we go. There's a sculpture I'm working on. As you see through the plastic, there's a lot of little lines in here beyond the deep creases and wrinkles that are there. So I will actually take this little guy right here. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. And because I'm using dark light and shadows to create different levels of kind of, so I can see what I'm doing. I can see, I can move the light. The light also has 3 different levels of light on it. That's off. There's the first level, second level, third level. I'm gonna go to the second level, and that allows me to see through the plastic and just create these kind of irregular crisscross lines. You notice I'm not going straight. I'm going at an angle, then I go at an angle the other direction. And that gives me that really neat, organic, natural wrinkle pattern on top of all the big folds and stuff that I've already scraped. So I will go through the plastic, go through all the areas. Notice I stuck the whole thing down. When I stuck it down, I used a brush to push it into place as I stuck the plastic down. You know, a good stiff brush that you can control, push it into the deep creases as you lay the plastic down. Then you can tack it down, and once you start texturing it, it will kind of stick in place. As I go back through it, you know, those lines can only be achieved so much with this little guy. Then I can take my other tool, go down in the deep creases that this did not get to, and just get those crisscross lines in there. Now, if for some reason my clay is too hard and I'm not getting, you know, the deep impressions I want, get yourself a heat gun and you put it on low heat and you just go over the area to warm it up. It doesn't take long to warm up a certain area. Blow dryer works as well, but I like the heat gun because it's more of a controlled heat source. Now I've softened that clay up and I can really get in there. I don't really need to press down much, because just dragging this tool across the warm clay gives me the texture that I'm looking for. And as the clay cools, you can then go back and then, you know, do areas that aren't as deep, but you know, you have complete control over your clay by doing it this way. And if it gets too soft, you just, you know, cool it down, let it cool down, and then you come back to it. So that's just a little help I thought would you know, give you guys some insight into my process and what a lot of other sculptors go through. Everyone has their own style, and some are better than others, but you know, you got to learn somewhere, and you know, trust what time and practice will do for you, and your sculpture will improve, and you'll feel more confident about everything you do over time. So hope that helps you for today. Let's come back up here and you know, get out there and start pushing some clay and creating something neat. Talk to you later. Make sure you subscribe and come back again. See you later.